I mean, she's light. Hey guys, welcome back to the Clean Beauty Code. I'm so excited for this video because we're doing a foundation review and I'm freaking jazzed. We are reviewing the Kosas Revealer Foundation. I was so excited when I saw Kosas was coming out with a foundation because they came out, they had their tinted face oil, and that, like, I really enjoyed that product. And so when I knew that they were coming out with a foundation that was like the same vibe as kind of their concealer, I was really intrigued because I don't know, I feel like Kosas, I feel like they have like really stepped up their game, and like their brow products that came out were really great. Like I was excited, and you guys had a lot of questions. Like I feel like that was the most asked. I got DMs on Instagram. I had so many questions on whether or not I was going to review it, and I was like, girl, I already got it. So I grabbed 3 shades and to try and find like my perfect match, which, I mean, does that ever happen? It never happens. But I was like so excited, grabbed it all, and I've been testing and trying, and I have been comparing it to other foundations, and I'm very excited. I really just want to jump in and get started because I feel like I'm going to do like a full try on. We're going to, so I did this look on camera, and I'm going to do a full try on, then speed through the rest of my makeup, compare and contrast it to other foundations, and then we are also going to be doing like a final wrap up, and I'm really excited. So if you're excited for this video and more videos like this, then please like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this Kosas foundation review. All right, so this is the Kosas Revealer Foundation. What is the full name? The Kosas Revealer Skin Improving Foundation, Broad Spectrum SPF 25. So I will say, when picking a shade, I bought 3 shades, and I feel like brands with their shades in terms of matching online, like not even like recommendations of, oh, this might match you, but also in terms of like this person, they're like their model wears this foundation, and you're like, okay, vibes, energies are matching right now. I'm gonna pick her or him. And then you get it and you're like, in what world? I mean, if you haven't seen my Rose Inc like tinted serum review, I had the same issue with that. Like, it just like were worlds of different. I do find that they skew a little bit yellow, but I felt that way with the concealer, so I anticipated that it was going to feel a little bit more on the yellow side, so I kind of picked accordingly. So I recommend that. Now, this is the shade I got. I got the shade 260. She is light for me. Now I'm gonna put the model that they said matched 260 on the screen and the swatches right now, and I just feel like they are just variances to what it actually looks like. Especially just even like the swatch, like the color swatch is so much darker than this. This is definitely light for me, but I can make it work with foundation, not with foundation, with bronzer and all that stuff. So let's get into it. I'm gonna swatch it on the back of my hand first. So this is the shade 260. I mean, she's light. She's light, you guys. She is. And I'm gonna look a little crazy at first, but once the once I have it, it kind of settles in. It doesn't get darker, but it kind of blends out nicely. And I went with this one. I ordered 3. I went with this one because I felt like the undertone of this one made the most sense for my skin, because like she is pale right now. I am very pale for me, and I'm definitely skewing, I feel like, a little yellow. So I kind of went with this one. It definitely was the best match. I felt like the other ones were too pink or too something. So this is that. I'm going to blend it out just so you can kind of see. Oh my God, look how light. It's just not a great match, but that's okay. You know what? It happens. So that is kind of what it looks like. All right, now let's apply it to the face. And I do really like the consistency of this. Now, you can apply it with a brush, you can apply it with your fingers or a sponge. I prefer with this foundation to apply it with my fingers. You know, I really do in general, so I'm taking about this much, like not even a full pump. I do find in general that I prefer to apply certain foundations with my finger to kind of give me, so let me see if you can, so it's not crazy, but it's light. If I apply more, which I will, I'm kind of doing my first application right now, it'll look crazy, but that's okay. A little ghostly, I will say. So I like to, this you can kind of layer up nice. Oh my God, she's looking pale. is life. I actually, if I have the choice of going dark with my foundation or light, I prefer light because I can correct light a lot easier than I can dark. Just make sure I get in my hairline so it doesn't look, there we go. Oh, look at a little pale. So I'm gonna apply it just a little bit more. I would definitely say that this is a medium coverage foundation, and I look crazy, but that's okay. I prefer to apply foundations. I feel like I was in the middle of a thought and then I like moved on and like didn't finish it. I prefer to apply foundations recently with my fingers because I like the finish of it and the way that I can kind of give myself a really dewy look. Sometimes brushes are great, but it really depends. With something that's very dewy like this, or like more, I don't know, it gives me more of like a plumped up face, like really hydrated looking face. I prefer to use my fingers. That's what it looks like. And if you can, I don't know if you could tell before, I have hyperpigmentation here. This is, oh my God, guys, I have like the best stuff for hyperpigmentation. But anyways, this is definitely getting a lot better, and it was darker before I applied it. So it definitely has some coverage, but if you have dark hyperpigmentation like me, it doesn't fully cover. But you know what? I think we all have to just embrace our flaws. It's like, we just gotta embrace our flaws. All right, I'm talking too much. Time to get into the rest of the makeup. All right, you guys, so I am happy with the makeup right now. Still not a great foundation match. I mean, I think you can kind of tell, especially here, it's a little bit too yellow, but that's okay. I mean, I think in the monitor, I'm looking at the monitor, you can't really tell as much, but in the mirror, I can tell, like in person, I can tell, but that's okay, that happens. So I really, really like the way that the makeup is looking. I went for a more springy look, very like pinched cheek vibe, which I'm loving. I know people really like to wear their blush higher up, or that's more the trend right now. I like to do higher up with it kind of also cheek forward. I just feel like it looks a lot better on me that way. When I do it too high up, it looks a little bit crazy, but I also think it's because I have a small face, and like, you can only do so much with a small face because you only have so much real estate. It looks too high on me, but on other people it looks like, oh, so beautiful. But yeah, I did a little like subtle cat eye vibing. So this is the finished makeup look. You can definitely tell, really pretty finish to the face, definitely medium coverage. I didn't pinpoint anymore where my hyperpigmentation is. So I would definitely say that this is more of a, I believe they say it's a natural finish. Let me look what they say. Yeah, so they say it's more of a natural finish. I would say it's a little bit more dewy than natural, but I wouldn't say like full aggressively dewy. Throughout the day, if you do not powder your face, it is going to show. It's going to be dewy. I mean, even when you first apply it or you even first swatch it, like you will feel that this is definitely something that will dew up just from the texture of it, which is fine. I love dewy. You know, I love dewy. I love to look really plumped up, really young, really just like glowy. And yeah, so I wouldn't say, yeah, they say natural finish. I wouldn't say fully natural. Also, if you have hyperpigmentation, again, that's like dark. It's not going to cover it. It's medium coverage. But I do really like the way it kind of evens out the complexion of your face. So I definitely feel like when I have redness where it's around my nose, or anything like that, it really is good at like just going over that and really evening it out. It also doesn't cling to dry patches or texture, which I like. Important, because hyperpigmentation gets dark, people have eczema, people get dry patches. Winter is a nightmare hellscape that we're currently in, and I'm over it. And your skin just isn't as dewy and as like full of life looking as it is in the summertime or even spring, when like you have sun on your face and you're like, oh my God, thank you. We needed it. We need some sun. So having something that kind of doesn't cling to any of the dryness, oh my God, my hair looks crazy. Having a foundation that doesn't cling to dry patches and all of that is really, really nice. Because again, winter, it's just a nightmare. So I definitely like the finish of it. I like the medium coverage throughout the day. If you have like, you tend to get like oily quickly, you will notice a little bit more dewing, I think, quicker with this foundation than others. That doesn't mean it's bad. It's just like your personal preference. I love, like I get very here. I definitely like, girl, like she gets greasy quick. And I notice doing pretty much like pretty quickly. Like within the first hour, I will notice in general with all foundations more doing in that area. So I definitely say if you have more of an oily complexion, maybe just set it, but I don't think it's like too, it's not going to make you look too greasy or too wet or anything like that, because again, it is more of a natural finish, natural dewy-ish finish depending on your skin type. I like the way that it wears throughout the day. I don't find that it wears off patchy, and I like that. I like that it like works well with a lot of face creams, not all. I think if you're using a face cream that is more of a gel style face cream, this I've noticed balls up a little bit, not a ton, but I do notice a little bit of like that more pilling effect, especially depending on how long it takes me to like apply, like blend out the foundation. If I can blend it out really, really quickly, I don't really have that problem. But if I let it, I kind of take my time blending it, and then it sets up and I'm kind of going in for more, I notice pilling. So that's just something to know. This is definitely like a really pretty foundation. I really do enjoy it. Now let's compare the Kosas Revealer foundation to other foundations that I have in my collection that I feel like are good comparison points with it. So first we have the Ilia foundation. What is this? The True Serum foundation. They just reformulated this, which is just why? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But they just reformulated this, and I'm going to test that out because I'm intrigued. I have some questions. I'm also concerned that one of my favorite foundations of life is now different, because this was a really, really good dupe for, this was like literally an exact dupe for the Armani Luminous Silk. So we'll have to see if they measure up, old formula, new formula, but I feel like they are similar wise in the way that they wear. They have a very similar serum style foundation, finish and all of that. The way that they blend is really similar side by side. I will say I think that the Kosas one is definitely more dewy in terms of coverage, very similar coverage. Oh my god, look at it. Just not even vibes. Like vibes are completely off here, like not matching at all, but that's okay. The Kosas one is definitely more on the dewy side. I would say that the Ilia one has a little bit more of a natural finish, but I think the Ilia one also dews up a little bit less throughout the day. So that's really the difference there, I would say. They both wear beautifully, they both look beautifully, they both, no flashback on either of these in photos. I feel like the way that they just like glide on the face is really similar. The difference I would say here is that this one definitely feels, when you apply it, more on the dewy side, a little bit more. Although this is a serum foundation, this feels like there's more serum in it, or even more stuff in it, if that makes sense. So that's kind of the difference here. I like them both a lot. Okay, next let's compare the LYS Beauty Serum Foundation. Now the LYS Beauty Serum Foundation compared to the Kosas Revealer Foundation. The LYS Beauty Foundation has more coverage, for sure. Like I can definitely get more coverage with this one. The texture is also a little bit different. It feels, when you pump it out, a little bit thicker, but thicker is not even the right word. It's a little less wet, I guess. Ooh, I don't love that description of it, but it feels a little bit more substantial, I guess. Not in a good way or a bad way, just the texture is definitely different. The shade range, I would say, in the LYS Beauty one is really, really, I mean, this is great. If you have a hard time finding a match for you, and you have darker skin, this has great options. The Kosas one has really nice options too, so you will probably also be able to find a match in this. I feel like, what does the Kosas one have? How many shades? 42? 36, not 42. Can I get it together? So the Kosas one has 42 shades in it, and the LYS Beauty, I believe, has more than that, but I would say in terms of wear, I would say they actually wear really similarly, because I would say the LYS Beauty one, when you apply it, doesn't look as dewy, but throughout the day it dews up. I would say that they are pretty comparable. It just kind of depends on your preference in terms of texture. I really like both of them, but I would kind of occasion wear them. This one, I was a little bit more lightweight, so this is more of my grab and go, easy blend, like run out the door kind of vibe. This one, it still is lightweight, but I feel like this one I like to wear more like out. And then lastly, I want to compare the Kosas foundation to the Exa Beauty foundation. Now, I just did a review on the Exa Beauty foundation. In terms of shades, I think that the Exa Beauty one has more neutral options and skews a little less yellow. So it also, again, it's dependent. I would say that they're very similar, but the Kosas one is a little bit more serumy, but the wear throughout the day is very similar. The Exit Beauty one, I do feel like dews up less throughout the day, and I feel like the wear on this one is longer than the Kosas foundation. The Exit Beauty foundation definitely wears longer, or I feel like the way that it wears off is like a little less obvious, if that makes sense. Like the Kosas one doesn't wear off obviously, but when I'm comparing the two at the end of the day, when I'm taking my makeup off, with the Exa Beauty one, I still have a decent amount of makeup on, even if I mix it with oil or I mix it with face cream, which is something that I do sometimes when I just want a light coverage, but I really want this kind of, I really like this color, so I kind of mix it together. So I noticed that I have a longer wear, but this one still wears really like well. All the foundations I've mentioned today definitely wear a little bit longer, not like significant where it's like, oh my God, the Kosas foundation doesn't wear long, because it wears long. Like I definitely, when I take my makeup off at the end of the day, I definitely still have makeup that needs to be taken off. And this doesn't like wear off patchy or anything like that, but the other ones just tend to wear a little bit longer. And I think it's the texture of this. This one is a little bit more like serumy feeling, a little bit more dewy feeling. So that's just something to like keep in mind depending on your skin type. I really, really like the Kosas Revealer Foundation. I feel like it wears really, really pretty. You can kind of see a little bit more dewing in the middle of my head here, but it's not, I don't look wet or anything crazy. At the end of the day, definitely a little bit more dewy, but it's not anything crazy at all, but it's definitely dewy. I really like the way it wears. I like the way it wears off. I like the way it plays well with other products. Mine is something that has a little bit more of a gel in it. Then you just have to be careful the way you apply it, but it doesn't mean you can't wear them together. You just have to find the best combination of like how to blend it out, how quickly to blend it out, how much of whatever you're wearing underneath to apply. Just like with everything, you have to kind of figure out how it all works together best, because not all formulas play perfectly well together, but this is really good. Powders wear well with this. Cream wears well with this. Like I really, really like the Kosas foundation, and I would love to know, first of all, what are your thoughts on the shade range options, or at least not the shade range option, because it's an extensive shade range. I mean, 36 shades, it's nothing to like say, oh no, you need to whatever. But I feel like the depictions of the shades online are a little bit crazy in terms of how they actually look, like in person. At least for me, like the 3 shades that I got, like all of them variances, I feel like. I also feel like this skews yellow, which isn't bad because there's a lot of people with yellow undertones, but I do feel like this skews a little bit yellow. So I would love to know your thoughts on that too. Even like the ones that were like described more neutral skewed yellow for me. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, and I would love to know, do you like the wear of this? Do you like the foundation as much as I do? I do really like the way that it wears. I just have a couple pain points in terms of like the shade options, and also like the way that they show pictures online. Just it's same problem I have with like I feel like everything recently, but really big fan of it. I would love to know your thoughts. And yeah, that's it for my Kosas Revealer Foundation review. I would love to know your thoughts. Please leave them down below. And yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.